I just finished watching the Ed Gein show on Netflix, and honestly, it just makes me so fucking sad for the trans community.
Hey, so I am not trans, so if trans people want in the comments to tell me to stay in my lane, that's fine.
I'm deeply upset about the Monster series that's out right now about Ed Gein, and I'm gonna tell you why.
You know, these people are so predictable.
Netflix's new true crime series Monster, the Ed Gein Story, is sparking backlash for unintentionally reigniting a long-debunked myth that serial killer Ed Gein was transgender. Gein's real crimes inspired Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this time Netflix said it wanted to correct the record. As Tudum put it, the show represents Gein not as trans, but as gynephilic, a man so obsessed with women's bodies that he wanted to be inside them. That, they argue, explains the skin wearing, not gender identity. Co-creator Nick Antosca said it was crucial to make that distinction, even imagining trans icon Christine Jorgensen telling Gein that trans people are rarely violent. It's meant to separate his pathology from trans identity. But critics say the series still blurs the line. By showing Gein in women's clothing and linking him even imaginatively to Jorgensen, it risks reinforcing the same trans killer trope horror has long relied on. And that...
Okay, I'm gonna stop there for a minute because, come on, man. I was watching it. I don't know if you all watched it. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. These people you can never make them happy. Never. The LGBTQIA people. We need to stop saying the LGB part of it because it's not. It's the trans, queer, non-binary, whatever APP poo-poo, whatever nonsense there is. If you don't understand a Ryan Murphy show, then don't watch it. It's not a documentary. It's based on a story, and it's for entertainment, people. Like, all the whole Monster series they're not documentaries. They're based on things that happened, and then he wrote an entertaining show if you're into serial killers true crime is like the number one thing people watch. I knew it when I was watching it, and I knew I was going to have to make a video about this because I want to set the record straight here, okay? It's not transphobic in any way, shape, or form. Secondly, I honestly don't remember Ed Gein being sort of put into the transgender space. I don't remember that. I remember it being he was a cross-dresser and he was obsessed with women, and that's why this is so important because it's true. They separated transsexuals from gynephiliacs, which they call it or autogynephilia, which we talk a lot on this channel. And they're two different things, which I'm going to show you today, which I appreciate these people, Ryan Murphy and all of them, distinguishing the difference. And remember, it's not a documentary. It's just based on a story about this crazy dude, Ed Gein, and that's all it is. That's all it is. I don't want to blow the show if you haven't watched it, but, if you're into that kind of stuff, I think you'll enjoy it. I found it to be very entertaining and very interesting on many levels. I didn't take it as a documentary. I knew a lot of the shit in there was made up, but it's obvious. You can tell. But let me finish this, and then I want to show you something else. But I knew they were going to do this. They love to throw themselves they love to throw any successful person in that community under the bus once they become hugely successful. And of course, they're doing it to Ryan Murphy because that's just how it works. So here, let me just finish this. Oh, thanks so much for liking and subscribing to the channel. I do appreciate you guys very much.
Risk feels especially sharp right now, when trans people are already being wrongly blamed for violence committed by cisgender men, like the recent shooting linked to Turning Point's Charlie Kirk. Online, the reaction's been brutal. Some viewers are openly comparing Gein to trans women, claiming his crimes reflect a trans experience. It's a disturbing echo of the very myth Monster was meant to dismantle, because sometimes, even with the best intentions, retelling a myth only gives it new life.
So what is this idea that it's a lie that trans people aren't violent? Yeah, sure. I see a lot of trans people who are violent, and I've brought that to your attention many times. So that's a bunch of bullshit, especially today. There are more violent trans people than I've ever seen in my whole life. It's why I don't believe they're actually transsexual. I think they are autogynephilia, and it's why they're pissed about this thing exposing them. They exposed the difference between a real transsexual person, somebody who deals with gender dysphoria, wants to fix it, look like a woman or a man, and walk the world. And these people who are so mad, they don't even make an effort to look like they're just autogynephiliac. They have a fetish for being a woman sexually. So I have some really good stuff here that I want to show you. I made an effort to try to break this story down for you. So for copyright reasons, I didn't want to bring this particular piece of the video to this because I really feel like it'll be hit for copyright. So I just took some screen grabs. So this is the part when I was watching it that I knew that the trans community was going to blow up and have a complete spaz attack about it. So let me just show you these graphics. The scene starts with he's like having this fantasy about talking to Christine Jorgensen, who you probably all know. She's like the first famous transsexual woman back in the 50s, and a GI that became a woman, and blah blah blah. She's super famous. But anyway, that being said, so here's the conversation. So it starts with his fantasy of talking to her, right? But Ed, I don't think you and I are alike. They say I killed some people. I also dug some people up. I'm not laughing. It's kind of creepy and gross. Out of their graves. This is why the trans community is so mad. The transsexual is rarely the perpetrator of violence, Mr. Gein, Christine Jorgensen says to him. We are far more likely to be, which this is true, or it used to be true, the victims of violence. I don't think deep down that you're a woman, Ed. Here it comes. This is the important part. I don't even think you want to be a woman, a transsexual woman is saying to him. You're what they call a gynephiliac. AGP. This is why they're pissed, you guys. This is why, right here. You so eroticize the female body that you wish to put it on. Hence the skin suits of women. And he only dug up women, okay, to be inside of it. Okay, this is why the trans community is pissed. That's not an identity, but a sexualization. Bam. Right there. Right there. I would love to know what any of this, how this is transphobic. It's violent, Mr. Gein. It's the ultimate way to penetrate a woman. It's the truth. When doing so in the traditional fashion was forbidden by your overbearing mother, because supposedly his mom was like, stay away from women, don't be around them. She was always harping on it. And like, so that literally says what the difference between a transsexual person is, which was Christine Jorgensen, and an actual gynephiliac or an autogynephiliac, which is what they try to hide in the trans community, which is somebody who is sexualizing being a female and sexualizing it, and saying Ed Gein was totally sexualizing it by putting on these female costumes. What is transphobic about that? I would love to know. But the reason why is because there's so many AGP now within the trans community that they're freaked out about exposing themselves as not transgender or transsexual, but as sexualizing women for a fetish. Bam! That's why they hate the show. They hate the show because it outs all of them. So, of course, I knew it. I could have bet $1 billion on this and won that bet. So I went to Google because it's run by AGPs for sure. Oh my God. So then I put in Ed Gein Netflix backlash from the trans community. And then it comes up, Out Magazine and other LGBTQ publication plus, I can't forget the plus, publications have led a backlash against Netflix monster, the Ed Gein Story, for dangerously, really, conflating the infamous killer's pathology with transgender identity. No, they didn't. They didn't do that. They put his identity with an autogynephilia, an AGP. They didn't say, no, Christine Jorgensen literally said, I showed you it. She said to him, you're not like me. You're not transsexual. You are what is called a gynephiliac. So on the flip side then, is the transgender community finally admitting that AGP people are transgender now? Are they admitting it? Because that could be some form of admission if you're saying that, right? Critics argue that the series, which premiered in October, amplifies harmful anti-trans myths despite the creator's stated intentions. This actually is like, none of this makes sense. First you say this, then you say that, right? This is the part that I found. Out Magazine published an opinion piece arguing that the show's portrayal of Gein promotes dangerous anti-trans talking points by misusing the psychological term autogynephilia. So how is it misusing it? That's literally what it means. So then it goes on, amplifying TERF talking points. Okay, amplifying TERF talking points. The article claims that portraying Gein as autogynephiliac repeats and validates talking points from trans exclusionary radical feminists. What? No, it actually is the real medical talking points that it does, who use the term to spread transphobic narratives that label trans women as sexual deviants. So you guys are admitting then that AGPs and trans people, so trans women can be AGP. Then the thing that you always say isn't true is now you're saying it's right here in writing. It is true that some of them are AGP and they are sexualizing women. Other LGBT plus community backlash. This is the part that pisses me off. The LGBTQ plus backlash extends beyond the trans related plot, really, and includes the series' overall depiction of queer identity. Where? Please watch it and show me where any of queer identity is even in this. This is set in the 1950s. Where's the queer identity? What are you talking about? Just because you're trans doesn't make you queer. But you see how they're putting their rhetoric and their bullshit? I'm calling all you people out. You're so full of shit. You always have to throw in the queer thing. Where's queer in the show? Never once has it. Okay? And are you forgetting that Ryan Murphy is a gay man who has helped the gay voice get out there on one of the biggest, if not the biggest platforms in streaming, Netflix, and then you're just trying to throw them under the bus. It's just, they don't care. Once you become successful, and that man created stuff to get the gay LGBTQIA, whatever, voices out there into the media, and you're just throwing them straight under the bus because you don't like the depiction of trans women. Oh, man. Okay, hold on here. It's just so pathetic. You people, I just can't. So then we got Lady Dumb Shit number 1.
So I just finished watching the Ed Gein show on Netflix, and honestly, it just makes me so fucking sad for the trans community. Like, as if they're not already being attacked every day by their own fucking government and the whole Christian community, whatever. Now we have this fucking show, which is full of hidden messages and propaganda. What? I don't know. I think we're gonna see like a whole new level of violence against them and just fucking hate.
What? You're projecting your own bullshit, first off. Secondly, why'd you have to bring Christians into it? Okay? I know a lot of trans people who are Christians, okay? And I actually have a lot of friends who are Christian. What? This is the same bullshit, and your government is against you. Like, what?
Sorry for cussing so much, but I'm just like, this makes me so sad for them. I don't know. The show is twisted. There were so many things wrong with the show. Okay, like we can start with the whole Nazi thing. That was fake. Online, there's nowhere you could find that he even knew anything about the Holocaust. He was not connected anyway to the Holocaust.
Are you forgetting that this is a show of entertainment? It is loosely based on a story, okay? But I have something to show you because people didn't do their research on Ed Gein, okay? So how do you know? Because it doesn't sound to me like you did your research, but you see how they're just saying shit? I'm so sad for the trans community. They're already under attack. Who are you? You're not even trans, and you're like, I'm so sad for them. You know, you should be sad for the fact that you've been duped into the lies and deceit that the left-wing ideology, trans bullshit, has sucked you into. Okay, lady dumb shit number 2.
Hey, so I am not trans, so if trans people want in the comments to tell me to stay in my lane, that's fine. But I'm wondering if anyone else did anyone watch the Ed Gein show, the new Ryan Murphy monster Ed Gein story? And if you did you feel like it was kind of anti-trans?
No.
Or at least did you feel like it was maybe not the right time and political climate to release this? It just felt like it really, really harped on the wearing women's clothing thing, which, as we've seen from the Autostraddle article and also like literally any research that you do, he didn't even wear women's clothes.
How do you
so
know?
It's weird that they are like obsessing over it.
No, but he made suits out of women's skin. So there's that. And if you know about Autostraddle, well, I don't even want to say. That being said, no, I disagree with you. And you're not trans. I don't really care. You're allowed to have an opinion. I don't really care. You go right ahead. Doesn't make it right. And I'm just so. What do you mean the right time? So let me ask you this question, lady dumb shit number 2. Are you okay with all those little kiddie shows they're showing with Tranberry and whatever else, indoctrinating 3-year-old little kids into being trans? Are you okay with that? You're not okay with a show based loosely on an actual real life serial killer who totally made skin suits out of women and is probably an autogynephiliac, which you probably don't even know what it is. So I'm just, I swear to God. Okay, wait, I got lady dumb shit number 3 here.
I'm deeply upset about the monster series that's out right now about Ed Gein, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Ew, I don't know if you noticed that, but I just have to say it real quick. Back up and look. That this girl is picking at her piercing between and picking something out of it and flicking it. Oh, I like gagged when I saw that.
For starters, I was raised in Wisconsin. I lived there a majority of my life up until like the last 6-7 years. And I would like some justice for the story about Ed Gein. Ed Gein was not a serial killer. Say it with me. Ed Gein was not a serial killer. He only murdered 2 people, allegedly 3. It's not confirmed that he killed his brother.
Well, 3 creates a serial killer, just so you know. So how is he not a serial killer then? And I'm going to believe you over what's being said in books and things that have been written about this guy? Nope, not going to believe you, okay? And we can set the record straight. 100% we can. So, thank you for introducing my next video.
In terms of the skin suit he made, a lot of what Gein did had to do with resurrecting his mother. But the other part of it is, Gein's fantasy about becoming a woman. We know that he avidly read stories about this ex-GI who went to Sweden and had a sex change operation. And came back as Christine Jorgensen.
Christine Jorgensen, who made world headlines when she was transformed from a former GI into a woman, is now a Woman of the Year, a title bestowed upon her by the Scandinavian Societies of Greater New York.
There was a lot of publicity about Christine Jorgensen, and Ed followed that case very closely.
I am deeply honored and most sincerely touched.
Ed Gein was also obsessed with the Christine Jorgensen case. When he was interviewed by psychiatrists later on, he did say that when he was a little boy, he did often wonder what it would be like to be a little girl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's weird because the entire thing is filtered through the lens of Ed Gein. You know, it's still filtered through this, like, demented lens.
But he definitely was looking for sense of self, though, right?
Oh, sure.
Trying to figure out who he is.
Surely.
What is he doing in Plainfield, Wisconsin? What's the point of life? And I guess it just led to him making a skin suit.
If you're inclined or sensitive to or vulnerable to input from magazines or movies you see or stuff you read, you know, it may find its way into your imagination and then start to incorporate that into your own fantasy life. You know, I think about things like sexual identity and sort of who was this guy sexually? And I don't know if he knew, but it would seem as though he never had sex. It seemed as though his mother cautioned him that you shouldn't have sex unless you marry a woman. So, was there something sexually gratifying about this?
Was there something sexually gratifying from this? There you go. AGP, not transsexual, which is clearly the message that Ryan Murphy was creating in the movie. What the fuck are the series? What is wrong? I can't stand this trans thing anymore. Everything is woe is me. Everything is an attack on the trans people. Everything is about them. Unbelievable to me. It's just so tiresome, honestly. So with that, I'm going to say to you all that I don't believe this series in any way, shape, or form is transphobic. I think it spells it out what a lot of us have been trying to say, the difference between what these new trans people are doing and what an actual transsexual person who just wants to get on with life, transition to look like a man or a woman, and coexist in the world. So I loved the series. I thought it was great. It's very Ryan Murphy. It's fun and I don't know about fun, but I don't even want to blow the ending for you. But that being said, just remember, it's not a documentary. It's loosely based on it. And I appreciate that they did separate the difference between a gynephiliac and a transsexual person. So with that, I hope you have the time to watch it. And if not, it's all good. I give it thumbs up. Okay. Baby girl is doing great. Thank you so much. Oh my God, she's gaining so much weight. I've never seen a baby eat so much. And she's making up for lost time. Those first 2 weeks, she was having a hard time there. But with that, thank you guys so much for all the great love and wishes for her. I do appreciate it so much, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.